next guest has combined religion and romance in the most unusual way.
Well, after her long-term relationship ended in 2017, Nita Marie decided to start sharing X-rated pictures online.
However, she says that rather than her family and friends encouraging her to do so, it was actually with permission from God.
Well, not only does Nita believe that God encourages her raunchy career, but she says that God also joins her and her husband regularly in the bedroom for threesomes. So she joins us now from Colorado to tell us a little bit more. Morning to you,
Good
Nita Marie. Thank you for
morning.
joining us. So explain your religious background. Were you from a religious family?
I wasn't from a religious family. I was from a spiritual family. So they didn't really push religion on me. I was able to find it myself.
And you had a dream, didn't you? You were quite young, and this dream was very vivid, and it sort of led you down this road of Christianity.
Yeah, so when I was 9, I didn't know who Jesus was because I wasn't raised in a religious household. And I had a dream that I was being crucified. And so I talked to my mom about it, and she said, well, Jesus was crucified. And so that really started my own journey into discovering Jesus and who he was in my life.
And so, that is fair enough. You find a faith, you find something that many people love wrapping themselves up in and find a great comfort in that. You were in a relationship that you said really had an unhealthy sex life. You were in it for 7 years. It ended in 2017. Explain, in part, that relationship.
Yeah, well, my relationship actually turned asexual. So we were not having sex. We didn't have sex for 7 years. And it was obviously unhealthy because I think most relationships that are intimate usually have sex. And so that really was the beginning when I ended that relationship of rediscovering my sexuality and my body.
And also, like, it sort of had an impact on your confidence. So in order to regain your confidence, that's when you started taking photos of yourself and putting them, first of all, online. And this kind of grew and grew and grew until you became an adult model, really.
Yeah, so I had no idea it was going to get as big as it did because I was just doing the photo shoots for my own self-confidence to rediscover my body since, again, I had cut myself off from it for 7 years. And so through the process of it, I really had fun, and it was a lot of fun, and people liked the photos. And so it kind of went viral. A lot of my photos got a lot of attention. And so I never really expected to be where I am today.
So how do you reconcile those two sides of your life? Because I would know that posting those pictures lost you a few friends. But as far as your head is concerned, you are feeling great about yourself and posting some fairly raunchy pictures. And at the same time, you have this relationship with your religion. So did you ask God for permission?
Yeah, well, I think most Christians want to do what's right in God's eyes. And so, of course, there was a little bit of a moral conflict happening. But what the answer that continued to come to me was actually 2 answers. The first answer was he wanted me to celebrate my body and love my body and to love my sexuality, because it's something natural that a lot of women don't feel good in. They don't feel good in their sexuality. They don't feel good in their body. And so it was very clear he wanted me to celebrate that. And then the other thing that he said was that there are some people that will never know about me, meaning him, God, unless I do this. So I do feel like there are a lot of women in the community of adult modeling that have been shunned from church, have been shunned from their communities. And so for me, I want to be a positive person in their life, as well as for my fans. There's a lot of men that might subscribe to my page that are lonely and just need someone to talk to. So
the God you're talking about seems like a very understanding, all-encompassing God, because we all know that there are many aspects of religion which do not embrace all aspects of sexuality and actively work religiously against them. So how come your God is so understanding?
Well, I think there's a difference between having a relationship with Jesus and being in a religion. For me, I've just always looked at what Jesus did, and Jesus was all about love. and he was all about forgiveness, and he was all about grace, and he was all about most of his time he spent with sinners, with prostitutes, with thieves, with people that were cast out of the community. And so I choose to focus more on what Jesus would do instead of what religion tells me to do.
And your faith sort of filters into all aspects of your life. You're now in a relationship with somebody else, a much more sexually active relationship. And you say that the God plays a part within your love life, love making, in fact.
Yes. So I know this is a funny word when you say have a threesome with God, but it's really just inviting God into the bedroom. And so, because of my asexual relationship, I made a commitment that the next relationship I was going to be in, I was going to make sure that God was going to be in our sex life, because I knew that if I had God's blessing in all areas of my life, it would be even better. And so, I just decided to invite him to be a part of everything, including my sex life.
So how do you know he's there?
Well, it's just like anything else. You can invite God to be part of anything in your life. And so for me, it's just an emotional connection. And I'm much more open because I am remarried. So I do have a husband now. So I am much more open to my husband when God is there.
Does your husband know that God is there when God is there?
Not all the time, but I do, pray that God's with us every night in the bedroom with us. And so he feels him too, even though he doesn't necessarily pray with me to have God there. He feels him too.
And you've said that by having God there, this is the best sex you've ever had in your life.
Yes. So I'm sure you guys have all seen The Notebook, and the passionate love scenes between the two people in The Notebook. And honestly, I could say that every time I have sex, it is that passionate, because God is in the bedroom with us.
I mean, let's be honest, that is the name that a lot of people shout out at that particular moment.
Yeah. But it's more of like, not using it in just a profane way, but really a spiritual, sacred way, because, I believe God's passionate. I mean, God is a lover. That's my personal opinion.
And how do you think other people of faith, the religious people, will take what you just said?
There'll be some positive and negative. I think that there's some people that will definitely see my view because they also, believe that sex is a big part of their life and they want God to be a part of it. And then I'm sure I'll get people that are like, no, she's listening to Satan. She's not listening to God because God doesn't want to be part of our sex life. So there's going to be two totally different viewpoints.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's great to talk to you today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's a pleasure.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.